Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, it is about 4:23, and I do apologize if I do get any phone call interruptions during this live stream. But yes, welcome to this live stream where we are talking about on its fourth, believe it or not, fourth anniversary of My Little Pony, the movie, the 2017 movie based on Friendship is Magic. And I could tell you folks honestly, as I make sure the mic is lined up with my mouth here. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Okay. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me and everything. But yeah, the movie itself came out on this day on the basically they adjust the camera there too. Basically, it came out on this day 4 years ago, and honestly, this was something that a lot of fans had been looking forward to for at least, and I mean at least 3 years when it was first announced. Now, it was first announced basically at I think it was the 2014 BabsCon or San Diego Comic Con. Hold on for a second. Let me make sure everything is still good. Of course, it do that. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna adjust the headset here. Make it a little bit better. There we go. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me, and if you felt something on the mic, there you go. Well, actually, a lot of people just to answer this question here. Basically, it came out in 2017. 2017 to 18 is a year. 19 is 2, 20 is 3, and then of course this would make it 4. Next year will be 5, so that will be kind of like a big deal and all that when it comes to the movie itself. Um, but yeah, it came out in 2004, 2017, and it was, and a lot, like I said, a lot of people were looking forward to this since it was first announced at the 2014. I think it was BabsCon or San Diego Comic Con. Let me check something here for a second. And I got commercials, of course. Hold on. All right, just making sure you guys can hear me on my television. You know, I basically check on my television since it's got the YouTube app on it to make sure you guys can hear me. But yeah, this was something that a lot of people were looking forward to when it first came out, or first announced, as you said, in 2014. I think both BabsCon and mostly San Diego Comic Con. And this was all due to the fact that originally, everybody thought My Little Pony, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic was only going to last about 3 seasons. This is why the third season was so short, because they thought originally it was only going to last a few seasons, and then they'd be able to like move on. They had no idea it was going to become the phenomenon that it did. They had no idea. And by the way, super chats are open if you guys want to donate. It's up to you guys. But anyway, nobody had any idea it was going to become the phenomenon it did. And it was around, I think, season 2 that they started to notice the popularity rise up. And I think going into season 3, they started to really notice it, come full circle, basically come full stride. And that's when it was decided that they were going to do a movie. Now, I'm sure, from my point of view, I'm sure they probably thought by doing the movie that might help, basically round up the series to a conclusion. Like the series will conclude after the movie, but with the announcement of the movie, again, my point of view, my opinion, with the announcement of the movie, the series just took off to another stratosphere. It just took off to another level. And me at the time, as I've mentioned before, I was slowly getting into it, not totally there yet, but I was slowly getting invested. Like, oh, like to me, it was around the end of season 2 or in the middle of season 2 with Luna eclipsed and then some of the episodes afterwards that I started to kind of get this feeling that the popularity of this show is no joke. Like I started hearing about bronies, male fans about my age, around that time frame, being watchers and supporters and fans of the show and fans of certain characters, and I was like, honestly, I was like, man, there's got to be something to this. So, like I said, I watched Luna Eclipse, or at least watched it the first time as best I could. I enjoyed it, and that got me really into enjoying Luna. Just the fact that at the time, I think the difference was, even though you could see bits of characteristicness and personality coming out of Celestia, Luna was more like, whoa, we didn't expect this out of her. And and then of course you had the Cantalot wedding finale for season 2. That was getting promoted as a big deal, and a lot of people has said that the way it was structured, even though it was a two-part finale, that the way it was structured was very similar to a Disney production, a Disney feature film production. I mean, Josh Scorcher even said himself that basically, the songs in there and the way it was put together could rival anything that was Disney, at that time. And even he said, and he said this during his basically his I guess you could say his countdown listing of all the songs of MLP. Basically he listed them all out originally in this video, and then he counted basically like the top 3 that he liked and one that he didn't like, kind of like going back and forth. Anyway, he said basically that the way it was structured could rival a lot of Disney products or Disney films at that time, but he also acknowledged that the moment it hit, and I think he's basing it also on the fact of how it was promoted, that when it hit, people knew it was going to be big. You know, and I think he would agree that even with the way it was promoted, people knew it was going to be big because there was no other show animation wise that was getting a promotion for its finale as much as Friendship is Magic was. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden, you start seeing, promotional work for Friendship is Magic season 2 finale and all that across the board, and you're almost like, this has to. It's like basically, it's like a wake up call. Like, don't sleep on this show. There's more to it than just you know being viewed as a girly girl show, and that's what got my attention. Not just Luna Eclipsed and people talking about that episode and everything. Um, what's the word I'm saying? What I'm trying to say here? But you know, obviously, like I said, the finale, the way it was promoted, and everybody comparing it to being like on that level of Disney. Basically, the way it was being promoted and talked about, to me, it was no way of saying don't sleep on it, because there's more to it than just a girly girl show, like I said. And to me, things like Luna Eclipsed and then the way this was received positively and everything, and I think it was this finale that got them an Emmy or something like that, or at least one of the Emmys they got for the show. To me, this is where it really like started to get my attention. So I started watching more. I started to kind of get invested more. I checked out clips and everything from the Crystal Empire two-part season 3 premiere, and just continued from there. Just keep just basically, like I said, I wasn't really fully on board yet, but I was keeping an eye on things to see what was going on. And then when we got to the finale for season 3 and the Alicorn Twilight deal, that's when basically, again, just like season 2, it became such a big deal. Not just the outrage by fans because they didn't like the fact that, oh, wait a minute, you're taking regular Twilight and you're turning her into an Alicorn. What's the point of this? The point of it originally, from what I've been able to understand, in the short time I've been a fan, and I've been a fan for like close to going on this year, and when I officially came on board, I've been a fan for almost 7 years, 6.5 to 7 years. I was, like I said, I was starting to get intrigued with it around season two, but I wasn't fully on board yet until, like, this happened. And from what I understand, even in my later years as a fan, doing some research as well as hearing what other people have had to say, and those especially that worked on the series, as I mentioned earlier, this was only supposed to go 3 seasons, and Twilight becoming an alicorn was supposed to be the crescendo. It was supposed to be the, be all end all for the show. That is until they found out how, popular it became, how much of a phenomenon it was becoming, how much it was crossing over to different genders and genres, and, embracing, fans of all ages, which Lauren Faust has even gone on record herself in saying that that was the intention of the show, to make it a show that was not just, a show selling toys, or a show being or a show being targeted towards girls, but a show that everybody, both boys and girls, male and female, can enjoy. And obviously, she wasn't, obviously, I think, to Lauren Faust's own admission, I don't think she was expecting it to be such a huge deal. I don't think she was expecting it to be such a huge deal when it happened. Again, as I've mentioned before, I think she was expecting it to only go for that, 3 seasons, and that was it. But then when she's, but obviously when the phenomenon became what it was, that's when Hasbro decided, and along with Megan McCarthy and everybody else, we're gonna that and Jim Miller and all them, that basically they're just gonna continue it. And Lauren respectfully bowed out. She's like, "Look, I did my thing. I stayed on as long as I could. I didn't anticipate it to be this big, but I trust you guys to continue it as best you could, and go from there." And that's exactly what they did. And they did stay true to a lot of Lauren's goals. Like, Lauren had a lot of goals in mind that she thought, obviously, from the original plan, that she wasn't going to be able to accomplish. But since the series was continuing, a lot of those stories, a lot of those plans for the characters and supporting characters did, come to pass. Like Rarity, getting a boutique shop, not just in Ponyville, but in Canterlot, and as well as in Manhattan, and as we see at the end of the series, throughout the entire world. Um, Rainbow Dash becoming a Wonderbolt, and then eventually, as we see at the end of the show, becoming captain of the Wonderbolts. Things like that, as well as, of course, Twilight becoming an Alicorn, and then fully at the end of the series, fulfilling the role that Celestia passed down to her along with Luna. So yeah, a lot of the goals that Lauren wanted to see happen did occur. It's just it didn't occur with her physically there, or her chiming in, her bit of advice, on certain things. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people that worked with her were sharing the info of what they were doing, were giving her, like, maybe first dibs to check out the episodes to see how well they did and all that. And I'm sure she enjoyed that. And this is why, when you look at things like BronyCon, the last BronyCon, BabsCon upcoming, you look at all these conventions, some of that have been up and running, or back up and running this year, like Everfree Northwest, and and all of them. TrotCon, I think, is another that you're starting to see a lot of the crew that worked on the show, a lot of the actors that voiced characters on the show, you know, coming around and finally meeting face to face with the fans and stuff. So it was pretty. So yeah, it became a pretty big deal. And like I said, when 2014 hit, basically that's when it really, took off more so than ever with the announcement of the movie. And honestly, they kept tabs on the movie, for the fans, letting them know what style of animation we were going to get, what the structure of it was going to be, what the synopsis was going to be, who celebrity voice wise they were bringing in. They, the one thing you got to give Hasbro and all of them credit for is they basically said, look, we're going to let you guys know what's happening with the movie, as we get closer to the release date. Now, the movie, from what I understand, was supposed to come out, I think, either a little earlier then schedule. Oh, not early. It was supposed to actually come out a lot later, or maybe a month or so later. I think in November for the holiday season. But then they decided, nope, there's too much stuff going on that at that time frame. I think there were like some Marvel movies going on or something like that, and they decided we're not going to battle that because we know we're going to lose audiences to that. So they decided to reschedule it to an earlier slot, which of course was today, October 6th, 2017. Today is actually October 6th, 2021, but you get the idea. And that's what they did. And honestly, here's the thing. Honestly, got to give Hasbro and DHX and Toon Boom and all of them a lot of credit for all the work that they did. They tried their darndest. They tried their darndest to make sure this was only going to be seen in theaters and not leaked out. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because apparently what happened is just like with any movie that they were putting a lot of gusto behind, a lot of pull, a lot of push behind and everything. They basically, as well as a lot of promotion behind, they of course had two separate premieres. They had one in New York, they had one in LA, and it was during one of these early screening premieres that somehow somebody had gotten hold of the film, and I think the film was released on something like let me see, like I think, well, I wouldn't say it's this here, which is the external hard drive, but it was like a flash drive. Basically, it was like this. It was basically something like this, but it was a, and that was a motorcycle out there. I do apologize. Um, but it was something like this in the shape of this, but it was a like a scan disk drive. It was basically a scan disk drive uh, that they that I guess the films were on. That a lot of films, not just MLP, but a lot of films were on, and somebody got a hold of that and basically leaked the entire film onto the internet, to the point that even though a lot of us still went and saw it in the theaters to support it, there were some of us that did see it, already courtesy of the leakage, and I was one of them. you know, that's the truth. I was one of them. I was like, okay, there's no, because the thing was, there was no avoiding it. There was no avoiding it actually, because not only did it get leaked, but people um, supplied links to the leak to click on it and download it to your choosing, which a lot of us, including myself, did. But again, the catch is we waited to see the whole thing in theaters. I had it, I looked at it, I skimmed through it, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I waited till I saw it in theaters. And what I got in the theaters, I enjoyed. And it looked a lot better on the big screen. Trust me on that. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, it got leaked. Equestria Daily, of course, reported it and said that that had happened. And I don't know if they provided it or somebody else provided it, but somebody had provided, like I said, the link to download it at your choosing if you chose to watch it that way instead of going to the theaters and support it. But what happened is a lot of people at Equestria Daily, a lot of acknowledged, not acknowledged, but a lot of well-known bronies and Pega sisters like Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, Firebrand, Josh Scorcher, Dal Wilsonator Thespio, Voice of Reason, a lot of Dr. Wolf, a lot of them were coming out and saying, please go to the theaters and see and support the movie that way. Do not watch it through this leak. Even though a lot of us, and just my personal opinion, no offense when I bring this up, all due respect, no offense, but I think a lot of them, including myself, as well as those that I just mentioned, probably did download it, but didn't watch it at home until they saw it until after they saw it on the big screen. And the reason I think that anybody would do that is to see whether or not there was, anything left out. Like, sometimes a screener or a leaked or the movie being leaked out could be, not the finished product and this stuff still in there. So my assumption is those that basically came out and told us, and I say again, and I say this with all due respect, no offense to them, that basically I think honestly, they downloaded it as well so that when they got home they could see if anything was, in there or not. But anyway, though, getting to the point that I'm trying to get at, like them, I didn't, watch it, off the leak. I just skimmed through what was there to see what it looked like. And basically I waited until I got to see it in the theaters. And that's what I did. And, a lot of people are probably curious of how I did that. At the end of this video, I will provide a link to my journey to see it at the Regal Theaters in Turlock. Because what I did is, I was still working at Walmart at the time, and we were getting a lot of MLP stuff in. We were getting a lot of MLP stuff in for the movie. Some exclusive, some not, but we were getting a lot of stuff. I mean, what do you think I got the airship from? The Pirates airship, or the Sequestria Cantalot set that I have that was a Walmart that was sold everywhere, but the version I got was a Walmart exclusive because it came with an extra figure or an extra figure, which was Twilight, as well as I think an extra piece to the castle or something like that. Where do you think I got that from? I got that from my former job, but as well as I got the Talking Twilight. Well, did I get the Talking Twilight for my job? Yeah, I think I did. I think I did get the Talking Twilight for my job. As well. The Talking Princess one, I got that. Um, you know, I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of the figures of them in as sea ponies. I got, you know, I got some of the what is it? The Princess Cadence and Celestia clear ones, not as ponies, but the translucent ones and stuff. So I got a lot of those. I got a lot of MLP movie stuff. There's no doubt. As well as I ended up getting the junior novel because they had the junior novel there. I ended up getting that as well as I eventually went online and I ordered the other novel. Ironically, I went here to Nob Hill and they had uh, s- uh, the uh, the Stormy Road to Canterlot story, the origin of how Tempest came to be. I ordered the Tempest and Twilight thing, um, the Guardians of Harmony deal. I ordered that, so that was pretty cool. And like I said, I ordered the Sequestria Cantalot set, or not ordered it, but bought it for my job. So I got a lot. I got a lot. I mean, basically, in the short time that I've been a fan for 7 years, let's just say my collection of MLP merchandise and stuff has really grown. And I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, look, I mean, when you look on the back here, you look on the back there, look, that's one of the posters they sold. That's one of the posters they sold to help promote the film, which I thought was cool. And then, of course, I got the poster they hung at the theaters, that has the October 6th release date on it and says only on the big screen, basically in theaters. So, I got a lot of that. I really enjoyed a lot of that. So I really enjoyed getting a lot of that. I also ended up getting, um, if I can get to it right, I also ended up getting, believe it or not, this was at my job. This was actually the only one they had at my job. Look at this. If I can bring this up here. Yeah, karaoke machine, believe it or not. And then, of course, as I move some stuff here to bring this out, I got this. I got this through Amazon, but this was actually a Target exclusive, and you can see that right there. It says Target. This was Magic of Every Pony. This is one of those big sets that they would sell at Target, um, if you will. As well as I got the Sia, I got the Sia's Songbird Serenade. Um, pony, which you press her cutie mark and she sings. I got the singing Rainbow Dash with the mic with the "This Is Awesome" song. I also ended up getting the Rainbow Dash that you pull back and she flips, but she sings as well. And then, like I said, I got the airship along with a lot of the Guardians of Harmony figures they released to tie in with the movie. And then, of course, hold on for a sec while I do this. Hold on. I'm gonna leave the mic up so you guys can hear me. I'm gonna move some of the stuff back here for a second because I had to move it. I also, if I can get this without a problem, I also got the art book for MLP's movie, which is really nice. I got this, and it shows you a lot of what they originally had planned and everything, for the film, and so on. So it's really cool. It's really cool to see what they had. What they had planned originally. It was really nice to see that in this book. So I'm really happy to have it. And as well as I got a lot of books and everything. I'll probably try to do something separate to show you what I have. But okay, that's the Christmas one. Hold on. Do something. Okay. Sorry about that. Had to make sure I had the things ready and prepared. Should have had those prepared beforehand, if you know what I mean. And let me hold on. I'll be right back again. Got to open my door. Make sure everything is working right and everything. Okay, everything's adjusted. Everything's good. So anyway, like I said, I also got the soundtrack. I think I got this at my job. I don't think I got this through Amazon or anything. I got this at my job. So I got the soundtrack to the film, which was really nice. Ice and everything. So I was happy to get this. Just really happy to get this. And then, of course, along with everything else, is I just a mic here for a second. Make sure you guys can hear me properly. Okay. I'm sorry if you heard that right there. That was my finger just scratching something. But yeah, I basically ended up getting a lot of that stuff. Um, when the movie was out, was coming out and everything. And then, of course, we get to this day 4 years ago. And like I said, when I was working at my former job, I had plenty of time, basically. I had plenty of time to, well, what I'm trying to say is I had plenty of time on the books. I was basically about, let's put it this way, 2014 to 15 is a year, 16 is 2. This was 3 years in. And basically, this was 3 years in because 18 was 4, 19 was 5, and then, of course, 20 was 6. But anyway, I was basically 3.5 years in, and I had plenty of time on the books, so I was able to, work, work out a way to get some time off because one of the things they had instituted at that time, believe it or not, was we could go on a computer like this, well, not a laptop or anything, but a regular computer, and work out, uh, and work out basically, um, like I said, kind of work out, as long as we planned it, weeks in advance. As long as we planned it weeks in advance, we were to, work out basically certain days to take off, you know, just in case, we had other plans and stuff. And that's what I was able to do. I was able to basically plan. I was basically, and I think I did this about a month in advance, knowing when the movie was coming out. So I basically, a month in advance, asked for the 6th, for Friday, October 6th, off. And believe it or not, and here's the thing: sometimes even if you ask, here was the thing: sometimes even if we asked for a month, even if we asked a month in advance, sometimes there was a good chance we wouldn't know whether or not we were going to get it off until later on. Thankfully, I looked at my schedule because sometimes you get, because most times you would get your schedule for the next couple of weeks. Thankfully, I was able to ask for the time off in plenty of time, and I was able to get the 6th of, I was able to get Friday, October 6th off. And I think I had the rest of the weekend off after that because I took the weekends off. So I had Friday, October 6th off. So I had an entire weekend to myself. Well, not to myself, I had my mom here and everything, but basically to see the movie, I had most of that Friday to myself. So what I did, what I did is I got up early. I got up early. I think what happened was, I think what happened is my mom needed money for gas. Even though she had money and everything, she didn't want to use her card or anything, but she had an experience at a gas station or somewhere, or she had heard some things about, the putting your card into the little card slots on the gas machine on the when you're getting your gas, and just, on the card slots on the gas machines, and then somehow that gets, hacked, skimmed, if you will. So she had heard a lot of things going on there, and that was a big deal at the time. So she didn't want to use her card, and she didn't have no cash on her at the time. She had plenty. I'll put it this way: she had plenty of money. Don't get me wrong, but she didn't want to use her card. So she had asked me to get up the next morning early to go to the store and get her some money, and that's what I did. I got up early. I got her some money. That's where you saw that one video of me talking about the movie. And then after I got home, gave her the money and everything, and she got off to work. Um, I kind of relaxed a little bit, but then got myself together and basically said that the bus I need to take to go and see the movie is going to be the 7 o'clock bus, 7:30. It was going to be it was going to be the bus I normally take, 7:30. It's going to be the 7:30 bus. So I took that bus, but here was the thing. I didn't take it the way I normally would. Normally, I would take the bus. We would stop at the Veterans Memorial Park in Patterson, and we would either change buses depending on who was driving, or we would stay on the bus and then wait until the bus driver was done with the 15-minute break to get back on route to, get a lot of us to our destination, myself and some of my coworkers, that is, uh, to our job, basically the same job we worked at. So basically, I went on the bus, but it wasn't to be going to work. I told the bus driver that, oh, I'm not, basically going my normal route, and that I'm going to need a pass, a transfer. Um, and I told him what transfer it was going to be, and the rest is history. So as normal, I took the bus, stopped at Veterans Memorial Park in Patterson, then went from there, went on to the Turlock bus, and the driver who was on that one, I know her very well. In fact, I found out she's related to one of my former coworkers. Anyway, or at least connected family wise. And after that, after she took her 15-minute break, she got back on the bus. The rest of us going to Turlock got on the bus too, and we went towards our destination. And basically, I found out that the bus stop wasn't that far away from the theater. Although it was going to be a little bit of a walk, it wasn't that far away. So I went on the bus, and we went down to Turlock, and she dropped me off where I needed to be dropped off. And what I did is I got a little, and my finger just hit the mic there. I do apologize. I got a little bit of breakfast at Starbucks, a little bit of a sandwich, and again, my finger just hit the mic there. I'm just kind of itching here. I shaved my beard off this morning in the shower, in case you guys haven't noticed. you know, it was getting a little grayish and long, and I think it was making me sweat a little bit. Um, anyway, long story short, the bus driver dropped me off at my destination. I walked to where I had to go, went to the Starbucks, which was right next to the theater, got something to eat there as well as a Starbucks coffee, killed a little bit more time, and then finally, when the theaters opened, I was able to go in there, show them my well, it's charging right now, but I showed them my phone because it had the tickets on there because I ordered the tickets previously, I think a day or two before, a couple days before. Showed them my ticket, got some popcorn and soda, and went into the theater where I was at, and sat down and enjoyed myself. And what's funny is at first, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but because I was watching now, because I know the movie came out the night before. I know the movie came out the night before. Whoops, I don't want to do that. As I check the stream, as I check the poll here, as I check the poll. Okay, so far, 30 minutes in, 60% said they did not see the movie on opening night or day, and 40% said they did. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But yeah, basically, I don't know if I was the only one that went through this, but when I went into theaters, of course, it was an early show, and it's the first showing on its official debut day, which was Friday. So a lot of kids were in school. A lot of kids were in school. Older fans were either working or they were in college or whatever. So I ended up going into theaters, and I thought honestly I was going to be the only one, and it wouldn't be the first time either. It would not be the first time. Because the last time I went into a theater and saw the movie by myself was when I lived in Lawrence, Kansas. We had what was known as the Gage Four Theaters. Um, we had it was a theater chain called Gage Four. We had some Gage Fours in Topeka, Gage Fours in Wichita, Kansas City, all throughout Kansas and the Midwest. I don't know if we had some. I know we had some dollar bin theaters here, like bargain bin theaters here, like Gage Four theaters. Anyway, I had a Gage Four right next door to where I lived. I mean, and this is the truth. This is the honest truth. It's like here was my apartment, here was the Gage Four theater. Rock right between the hole in the fence because there was a fence that had a hole, and you can go right to the theater and enjoy a movie. And I went to the theater to see the live action Josie and the Pussycats. I'm not lying. Because what was going on is they were making such a big deal about this even after it had been in theaters for a while that and this being Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers, that I'm thinking, okay, I got to see this movie. So I did. And believe it or not, I was the only one. I was the only one that saw the movie in the theater. In in that theater room, that is. I was the only one. And I know this because I looked around thinking, where is everybody? And, I'm assuming, okay, they'll show up when the movie's starting or whatever, or in the middle of the movie. And after it was all said and done, I looked around, lights came on. Well, after it was done and everything, I got up, I looked around, there was nobody. I was the only one. Yeah. I was the only one that saw Josie and the Pussycats in theaters. Well, in that theater at the Gage 4 next door to where I lived. That was an experience. That was an experience because very rarely, in my opinion, do you get that opportunity. But again, but I bring that up because, and hold on for a second. Got a bit of an itch there. I do apologize. Let me adjust the mic again. Let me adjust it again. Sorry about that, guys. Gonna check again with the mirror. All right. Just making sure everything's cool. Everything's good. All right. Okay. Just make sure everything's good. All right. But yeah, what I was trying to say is I almost felt like that was going to happen again because when I went to go sit down, I didn't see anybody in the theaters until almost moments after before the movie started, and then here comes a grandmother and her daughter or a granddaughter, young granddaughter, coming to see the movie, and then I think a few other people came in just as the movie was beginning. So so thankfully, I didn't sit in there alone. I had some people in there, but again, because it was an early showing, in fact, the first showing of the day on its official opening day, which was Friday, October 6th, even though it did come out the night before, because cinemas have decided that hey, once 7 o'clock hits, that's the official uh, time to debut the new movies that are officially supposed to come out on Friday, and everything for people to see. So I know it came out the night before and it had a crowd. I mean, a lot of things people would say is we had massive crowds, for the opening Thursday night showing of the movie, as well as I'm sure, and I heard that they had a lot of crowds for the later showings on Friday and throughout the weekend. But anyway, yeah, I went to the early showing and I sat down, I enjoyed myself, and I got a kick out of the movie, loved it. And afterwards got out of the theaters, went on my Facebook, on one of the Facebook group pages that is, did a non-spoiler right out of the theater reaction video, which I think it's still on one of the uh, YouTube, not YouTube, but one of the Facebook pages. I got to look for it. But I did a reaction right off the bat, right at the theaters, which I should have done on YouTube, but I didn't think about it at the time. And I basically said it was one of the best movies I'd ever seen in a while, and I highly recommend people see it. And I gave it, I think, 5 stars. I think I gave it 5 stars. And I know you might think that's over exaggerating, but to me, just seeing the movie on my own and, honestly seeing how good it is and really coming to appreciate, and this was after and this is after I went live on Facebook and as this is what I'm trying to say. This was and this was bleh, and little tongue tied there. But again, what I'm saying, this was after I went live on Facebook and told everybody that I was a fan of My Little Pony. I was a brony. I was a brony. I was part of the Brony Pega sister community. I had basically done a 180 to where at first I wasn't sure to where now I'm fully supportive of it. I'm fully supportive of it. I'm behind it. I enjoy it. I love the characters and stuff. And if coming out live on Facebook and then later on YouTube and as well as live on some of the various MLP YouTube not YouTube but Facebook group pages and admitting that and everything, if that wasn't enough to kind of confirm my fandom of this franchise, the fact that they won me over, this movie totally confirmed it. This movie totally confirmed it because, like I said, I enjoyed it. I loved it. And it probably did help in my opinion, that I did see it on my own But again, I loved it. I enjoyed it. And unfortunately, because I live here in Newman, we don't have a theater here to where if they were showing it here, there's no doubt I would have saw it many times over. But as I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned earlier, and again, I say this with all due respect, no offense, with the likes of Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, SBO, Firebrand, Voice of Reason, Golden Fox, Keyframe, AC Race Best, Saber Spark, all of them, Dusty Cat, you know, basically, with all due respect, no offense to them, who all saw it in theater as well, I'm pretty sure like them, I'm pretty sure like me, I should say, they downloaded the leaked version of the movie, which was the same movie, nothing cut out, to watch it later on to in the comfort of their own home because it was that good, and it really was, and it was because of that afterwards that when it was announced that it was coming to home video in January, which again I was kind of, and I did a video on this because I was kind of surprised that it was coming out to digital so early. It was coming out to digital literally 2.5 months after it debuted in theaters. I'm like, shouldn't have. I'm like, shouldn't have they waited to at least January and then maybe put the movie out in February? Nope. They decided to do it a lot earlier. I think because of Christmas, and then in January, I think it was January, they released the movie on home video, Blu-ray and DVD and all that. They didn't do a 4K yet, which was a surprise. I mean, I'd heard people tell me that there is a 4K out there as well as some steelbook editions, but I haven't seen any. You guys gonna have to let me know if there's any 4K or steelbook editions of the movie. But when it was announced that the movie was coming to Blu-ray and everything and DVD, I knew I had to get it. And when my job at the time, Walmart said they were getting an exclusive version of the movie. I was like, cool, I'll get that. And the exclusive version was this. This was the exclusive version. It came basically, as I bring it out here, with a tin or aluminum an aluminum water bottle that has most of the characters on there: Applejack, Rainbow, Pinky, um, yeah, Applejack, Rainbow, Pinky, Fluttershy. You can see a bit of Twilight in there too, and I think Rarity's in there as well, but I don't see her. But yeah, I ended up getting this along with the movie because this was the packaging in which the movie came in. And if that's not enough, of course, with that comes the movie. Now, what's funny is because this was a gift set and everything, it didn't have a slipcover on the movie, but here's the movie right here on Blu-ray and DVD. Here's the movie on Blu-ray and DVD, and of course, I've already used the code, I think, to put it onto um, digital and all that, and you had to get it to Movie Redeem. But yeah, there's the which one is it? This is the they make it kind of difficult to tell, especially with the light going down a little bit here. I do apologize. Yeah, this is the DVD. This is the Blu-ray. So that's the DVD. That's the Blu-ray. So it's pretty cool to get that. But what was funny is this would not be the only release of the movie. No, it wouldn't be. Believe it or not, it would not be the only release of the film. Because you see, to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the entire My Little Pony franchise, along with this, and that would be the phone right now. Hold on. And I don't know who that is. Spam, I think. The one thing on the that they've added lately with the Xfinity calls, and I'm pretty sure it's other services that do it too, is they've added the spam option. Like, hey, this might be a bad thing to to answer. But anyway, like I was saying, what happened is that to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the overall franchise, a year after they released this on Blu-ray, or not a year after, but basically later on in the year going into 2019, but basically late 2018, early 2019, what they did to celebrate the entire franchise's 35th anniversary was they re-released the 2017 movie back on the Blu-ray. And as you could tell, and I'll say this: a lot of the places that released this when this came out on Blu-ray, a lot of places like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, they went all out with special editions. Best Buy's got one with like an activity book and stickers and stuff. I don't know what Best Buy's was, but I know they did one. And you could tell it's very and you could tell it's very shiny and everything, basically very laminated, if you will. So that's really cool, very reflective. But like I said, what they did later on that year, uh, to coincide with 2019 being the 35th anniversary of the entire franchise, is they re-released the movie back on the Blu-ray, but they did it in conjunction with Shout Factory, because Shout Factory owned the distributing rights, home video, DVD, VHS, digital distributing rights for the original '86 movie. So what they did in collaboration with Shout Factory, Lionsgate basically released or re-released the 2017 movie back on the Blu-ray and DVD. Like I said, later on that year in early 2019, late 2018, early 2019, but they released it alongside My Little Pony's 1986 film, being re-released again onto DVD, but also released for the first time on Blu-ray. And it was released in a combo pack. It was basically a two-movie, four-disc collection. That's how they promoted it. It was a two-movie, four-disc collection. So not only did you get the 2017 film, but you also got the 1986 film as well to celebrate the movie, celebrate the overall franchise's and 35th anniversary. And it did come with a slipcover this time. And they promoted the fact that this was the first time that the 86 film was on Blu-ray, which was kind of cool for them to do. And then, of course, it came like this. And then, of course, you have the movie, which, that's the Blu-ray. And that's the Blu-ray for the '86 film. And then here's the DVDs right here for the 2017 and '86 film. So it was kind of cool that they did that when they did. And of course, I was not hesitant when I got paid and after I took care of a few things to buy it. I was not hesitant to do that, because the moment it came out is the moment I bought it. And I have watched it as much as I can, or at least kind of watched it when I get in the mood to, as much as I can. And I'm still really enjoying it. I mean, my favorite parts. I mean, there's so many funny moments in that 2017 film that it's hard to pick out one. I mean, it does. Again, it has an overall good story. It has an overall good story, and I do apologize if you heard that. That was the Microsoft settings thing going off. I don't know why it does that. And my finger just hit the mic there. I do apologize. But like I said, the story overall for the movie was really good. I thought it was really good. Now was it perfect? Not entirely. I mean, yes, I stick by giving it a 5 out of 5 deal. I stick by saying it's one of the better movies based on a franchise that I have seen. I'll give it that. But honestly, honestly though, I can see, like I said, the story's good, but I can see where people have a problem with it, because they're like, why is Twilight acting like this? If this is supposed to take place between 7 and 8, it's like it's supposed to be a bridging gap between the two seasons, right? Just like the '86 Transformers movie was a bridge gap between season 2 and 3. So they're wondering why she's acting like this. And I've come on here, others have come on here, YouTube and other places, like the MLP forums, Equestria Daily, Facebook, Twitter, DeviantArt, you name it. We've all come out and basically said that the reason Twilight's acting the way she is because you have to remember the script was being written at the time when she had just become an alicorn and she was learning her role, learning and accepting her role as the princess of friendship. So that's why she was acting the way she was. She was, because the version of Twilight we saw on the big screen was the Twilight that we had seen in season 4 and 5, who was progressing and, like I say, learning her role as the princess of friendship and what she was destined to be and do, or destined to do and be, I should say. So that's why she acted the way she did. But besides that, and it having an overall good story, having some great characters. I mean, Tempest, without a shadow of a doubt, is a great character. No doubt. Emily Blunt, in my opinion, did a great job. Tay Diggs did a great job with Capper. In fact, you want to have proof that he did a good job on Capper, watch Andre Meadows' Black Nerd Comedies review of the movie that he did back in 2017, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Um, Christine Chenoweth, thought did good as Skystar. Um, what's her name? I'm trying to look up there. Um, uh, Aduba, uh, Aduba, Aduba. That's her last name. Aduba. I do apologize for screwing that up. Um, she did a good job as Queen Novo. Um, Zoe Sandalan, the girl that plays Gamora in the MCU films. I thought she did a great job as the captain, basically. I thought she did a great job. I think all the celebrity voice actors did a good job in the roles that they had. I mean, Levi, if you will, the guy that played not Wolverine, but Sabretooth in one of the X-Men films. I thought he did a great job. As the Storm King, really brought a personality and comedic wit to him. Overall, like I said, I think all the celebrity voice actors and actresses they got, you know, did perfect. They brought their A game to this film. They really did, and I think it helped really, it really helped. What's the word I'm looking for? Accentuate. You know, the popularity of the film to where you had critics not just looking at it as a 100-minute toy commercial, but basically as a non-fan, as an actual pretty good animated feature film. So at least they did their job in that front by getting the critics to get behind it and look at it as being just another animated film, but a good one at that. Um, but yeah, getting back to what I was trying to say earlier, there was a lot of good, funny moments in there. Really great moments. Um, I love one of the funny moments I always get a kick out of at the beginning of the film is when Applejack is asking anybody if they want to try a sample of her family apple cider, and then here you have Rainbow Dash going. Rainbow Dash is hearing this, and she's like, "Ah!" And she just zooms on down, and says, "Thank you, loved it." And then she just keeps going and going, and while Applejack is talking and everything, and all that. She was just keeping going and going, even after she tells Rarity, hey, I could, take care of your job in a rainbow, in a sonic second or something like that. Oh, in an awesome second is what I'm trying to say. I had a brain fart there for a second. That's why I kind of paused for a moment, like, and I went like, So I had a brain fart there. I do apologize. But, I loved it because, Rainbow Dash is just going back and forth where, Applejack is talking and refilling the cup and everything. And Rainbow Dash is going, just drinking and drinking. and all that. And this is where Rainbow Dash then tries to do Rarity's job of decorating the stage, um, faster than expected. And then when Dash tries to justify, hey, it looks fine, it's good, and Rarity's like, yeah, if you live in a barn, then Rarity has to catch herself and go, oh, no offense, Applejack. And then Applejack's like, none taken, you know, none, and Applejack's like, none taken. It's just my family just happens to have a barn. Well, I was born and spent most of my formative years, and then you hear Rainbow Dash come back, go like, "You were raised in a barn," you know, So really love that part, and then of course I like the fact that even though this was one of Megan's last major product projects she was working on as executive producer for MLP, I like the fact that they threw a little Sparity in there because here comes Twilight with Spike and all the ponies, all the other main six, at least four out of the main six, are saying hi to her, and then Rarity's like, "Hello, Spike," and Spike's like, "Hi, Rarity," and then you hear this boing, like, I think Saber Spark in the reaction video said something like, "Was that the Diatube sound effect?" Boing. And then I think Black Griffin followed that up by saying, "If the camera would have panned a little low, we would have saw something that would have changed the rating of this film significantly." you know, something like that. So yeah, there was that moment. There was the moment where Twilight came up with the escape plan to get off the pirate ship before Tempest Shadow would discover them, and Captain Solano was about that was the name of the captain. Captain Solano, voiced by the girl that does Gamora, was about to come to blows with her, and you have Twilight coming up with the idea to escape, which is right through the escape hatch. You hear the screams. You see Tempest's reaction, like what? And then and then you basically, um, and that was another uh, message right there. I do apologize. But then you have, and then after that, after they drop through the hatch, the escape hatch on the ship, you have, like I said, you have Tempest go like, "What?" Because you hear them screaming, and after Tempest is like, "What?" And then Captain Solano's kind of like sighing, like, like in relief, like she knows to escape, but at what cost? And all of a sudden, you see the main seven, I should say, falling to the sky, and then you hear Rarity go, "Oh, for Celestia's sake!" It's like, oh god! And then when she's screaming falling through as they're falling to the sky, you see a mirror pass her by, and she's like, "Oh!" And she just, you know, cleans herself up, cleans her face up a little bit in the mirror, and then continues to scream. And then in the background, you see Applejack holding her head, going like, "Oh, brother!" Like seriously, rolling her eyes. I mean, again, moments like that I thought were really, really good, really funny. Um, so yeah, the movie, yeah, and like I said, with moments like that and others that followed, to me, the movie, like I said, was good. It was, to me, one of the better adaptations of a animated series franchise, if you will, into a feature film that I had seen in a while. And again, you could tell they took a lot of time. They took their time. They put a lot of effort in this, and it really showed. And like I said about the celebrities or about the A game, they worked well with the established voice actresses and actors. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And again, if me coming out on Facebook Live, as well as basically through to my friends and family and publicly, as well as on the various MLP Facebook group pages, and then here on YouTube. If if me coming out and saying that I've become a fan, I've become a brony, that I did a 180, if you will, and went from being, kind of like, I'm on the fence to, yeah, I'm fully behind it. I fully support it. I love the characters and everything. And then admitting that, if that wasn't enough to basically solidify my stance as a fan of this franchise, then this movie helped do that. because, like I said, I came out and on some of the Facebook group pages, I did a live video reaction out of the theaters. And then, of course, I did a non spoiler and spoiler reviews when I got home. You know, again, if that isn't enough to really prove that I've become a fan, or even what I have now, I'm here in my room. I don't know what does. I don't know really what does. But overall, this movie, it's no wonder people when they watched Generation Five's movie that they went back and watched this movie as well. Because if it wasn't for this movie succeeding, and by the way, getting back more than just more than its what was it more than its okay, make what I'm trying to say is, if it wasn't for this movie making back more than what it spent in making the movie come to life, at the box office, much to the surprise of a lot of folks. If it didn't make back more than what it did, we probably wouldn't have had a Generation 5 movie, which is good in its own right. I mean, you have Matt Brunette, I think, Animat, giving it a 7 out of 10, saying that, if we weren't sure about it being off to a good start, this movie, Generation 5, basically solidified that it is off to a good start. And we wouldn't have a Generation 5 movie of any kind if it wasn't for the success of that movie, making back what it did at the box office, to overcompensate what they had to spend um, to bring it to life and everything. In other words, making back more than what they had to spend is what I'm saying. So overall, though, really enjoyed the film. And again, I think what really helped out for me is I got to see it on my own. I saved the money. Well, I wasn't. Well, yeah, I saved the money, but it was also ironic that I got paid around that time frame. So I was like, I'm gonna go and see this movie, and I had the money to do it. And all I could say is it was worth going on that journey. It really was, and I can't say any more than that. I really can't, because it just again, it's rare, like I said, for a movie based on any kind of franchise to succeed the way it did, or the way it did. Now, did it win a lot of critics over? No, but it won enough to where they're like, yeah, this is pretty good. This is more than just obviously a toy commercial and all that. This is pretty good. And again, I think the only critique that fans had about it, the only critique fans had about it was the fact that it it basically the story was basically written during the run of season 4 and season 5 and somewhat season 6, but mostly season 4 and 5, because of the way Twilight is portrayed, and somewhat members of the main 6, main 7 all portrayed as well. It's like, you look at that and you're wondering, why are they acting this way? It doesn't, kind of sync up to where they're at, to them acting, the way they did in season 6, what's going on, season 6 and 7, what's going on. And it's only when you realize that the script, was written around season 4 and 5 as to, why the characters acted the way they did. But thankfully, they were able to balance that out when we got into season 8. And I think that was under Nicole. That was the first of the last 2 seasons of the show that was under Nicole Dubuque's executive producing reign, that they were able to balance all that out and make sure that basically that what was going to happen throughout season 8 and into season 9 um, made sense and connected very well with the film, in continuity. Like at the end of season 8, in that finale, you have Twilight basically telling Celestia and Luna, because, magic is disappearing all over, and they're suspecting, Chirac is behind it. And, Luna and Celestia do agree that that does make the most logical sense and that someone should investigate. The way the movie connects in continuity with season 8, even though, like I said, the script was done, and written during 4 and 5, seasons 4 and 5, was when you have Twilight tell them, "We'll go." And you have Rarity go like, "Oh, no, 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 no. You're not going without whoa." Basically, basically, because when Twilight's telling Celestia and Luna, we'll go, like go to Tartarus and see what's going on, check in and see if Turek is behind us. Which spoiler he is, along with Cozy Glow. Uh, but when she says to Celestia and Luna, we're gonna check it out, you have Rarity go like, oh, oh no 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 no, not without LG. Whoa. And then it just shocks Rarity because all of a sudden it dawns on her what Twilight just said. She's like, "Did you say we?" And then that's when Twilight finally explains that she's finally learned I can count on my friends to help me out in the jam. And a lot of people like that reviewed that episode. A lot of people like finally, you know, finally, she finally realized that. So overall, it in continuity, it did work. As far as season 8 and 9 go, depending on the scenario, and the episodes of the stories and all that in continuity. So it did help out there. It did help out there. And again, like I said, if it wasn't for this movie succeeding, we probably wouldn't have a Generation 5 movie to start us off with a new generation. Um, at all, at all, or a new generation that basically continues in the same continuity and somewhat the same time frame, even though it's years in the future. That as Generation Four is, as Generation Four existed in, if you know what I mean. You know, you, you kind of get what I'm saying. I'm trying to think about what I'm saying, as I'm doing this. But yeah, basically, long story short, making more sense of this. If it wasn't for this movie succeeding, there wouldn't be a Generation 5 movie that takes place in the same continuity, the same world, somewhat the same time frame, although many years, thousands of years, as I put it, nearly 5,000 years in the future. If it wasn't for that movie succeeding, we wouldn't have that, which leads us into a series that hopefully will answer a lot of questions that will, kind of got left unanswered or that were, brought to the forefront with the Generation 5 movie. So overall, I thought it was a good film when I first saw it. Still think it is. I do watch it once in a while to get a chuckle here and there, or just to, entertain myself while I'm eating dinner. So, or take a break from the computer. So yeah, if you have not seen this movie, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you have, I say check it out. It's on Peacock right now. Believe it or not, it is on Peacock. It's been on Universal Kids. It's been on Epix. That's EPIX. It's been on Epix. Um, or Apex. No, Epix. Yeah, EPIX. It's been on there. It's been on Disney Channel and Disney XD. Believe it or not, and that's as well as it's been on Freeform. And that was one thing that a lot of people were wondering. They were like, "Why is this movie, whose series is on Discovery Family and on Netflix, as well as on Hulu, the last season that is? Why are we seeing it on Disney Channel, Disney XD, Freeform, Universal Kids, Peacock? What's going on here, right? Tubin, what's going on? And the reason for that, as I think I explained one time, is Lion Gates is the one that has the distributing rights right now. And until they lose, or until those distributing rights expire in the future, Lion Gates has the final say as to who they distribute the movie out to be seen. They don't have to necessarily distribute it to Netflix or to Discovery Family because that's expected. Because they have the distributing rights, they can distribute it to anybody who, makes a deal with them to show it on their service or show it during certain, you know, times throughout the week or the weekend. You know, they have the right to do that. So if Disney says, "Hey, we want to show this movie, on our service or on our Disney channels that we have, Disney XD, Disney Channel, and all that," Lion Gates can say, "Hey, sure, no problem. Let's make a deal for a certain amount of time," and there you go. Same with with them with the Disney owned Freeform channel as well. And the same goes with Tubin, the same goes for Universal Kids, same goes for Peacock, you name it. Heck, even if HBO Max wants to air this, they can do so. And even Epix. if they want to air it again, they can do so because Lionsgate owns the distributing rights, not Shout Factory, not Hasbro, not E1 or any of them just yet. And until the distributing license or rights expires for Lionsgate, expect the movie to be licensed out for viewing to all these different places. Now, could they license it out to Discovery Family? Could they license it out to Hulu, which they have done, I think? As well as could they license it out to Netflix? Absolutely, absolutely. Could they license it out to Paramount? Absolutely. So, they could do whatever they want with it. They could do whatever they want with it, but either way, if you have not seen this, and again, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have, check it out. Check it out. Like I said, me, I watch it when I eat dinner at times. At certain times, I'll watch it when I'm eating dinner or I'm taking a break from the computer or whatever the case may be. I watch it because I love it. I love the film. And it's, basically, it's got one of my favorite characters as a focal point, and that's Rarity. I really like that. And I like the fact that, again, Megan McCarthy, this being one of her last major projects, at least gave us a bit of asperity throughout the film. Not to not to an extent that we would get later on in season 8 and 9, as well as with Best Gift Ever, which was between 8 and 9. Not to that extent, but we got enough in there, like Rarity, like I said earlier, being the only one that said hi to Spike, while the others said hi to Twilight. Spike getting jealous of Capper flirting with Rarity, or well, yeah, basically flirting with Rarity, putting the sweet talk on her, as well as as well as the other members of the main six, before winning him over, I guess, by redeeming himself, that being Capper. And then, of course, Spike trying to calm Rarity down with her in hiding on the pirate ship from Tempest and the Storm King's minions, and he's patting her like this, like it's okay, calm down, and all that. You know, I love those moments. I really did, and I even like the fact, I don't know if anybody caught this, when Capper looked down when they're trying to advance on the castle, and they get confronted by some of the Storm King's men. I like how Capper's like, he looks down at Spike and he's like, "Hey, aren't you a fire breathing dragon?" And Spike just looks up at him like, "Oh yeah," and then out comes blowtorch Spike, and I love Rarity's reaction, like, "Mm-hmm. You mess with me, you mess with us, you mess with my dragon," kind of deal. Like she has this look on her face, like, "Yeah, you mess with us, you mess with my dragon." I love that. I really did. But overall, though, like I said, and that was another one of the funny moments as well that I got a kick out of. Especially Capper's reaction when he's doing it. He's going like, you know. Oh god, Tate Diggs did a great job. I'll give him that. But yeah, overall the movie, like I said, was good. It's got some great moments. Like again, another funny moment is when they're doing the celebration with the Rainbow Song by Songbird Serenade, voiced by Sia. By the way, I love the fact that when Skystar sees her mom and the other hippogriffs, now in the hippogriff form, not the sea pony form, but the hippogriff form, coming down to greet them and make sure everybody's okay. I love that when she hugs her, not just out of like thankfulness that she's safe and the Storm King is dead, but I love how as Skystar is hugging her and everything. I love how the Queen's like, "You are so grounded." Like she's gonna ground her, but she's still gonna let her celebrate and everything. And Skystar's reaction is like, "Excuse me, what you say?" But hold on, I'll be right back. Hello. Okay. No. Sorry about that. Took 6 minutes away. I do apologize. I do apologize for that. It took about 6 minutes off. But that's my mom. She likes to call me during her lunch as well as her as well as during her like I said, she likes to call me during her lunches as well as occasionally during her breaks, and then of course when she's in the vicinity. But anyway, like I was trying to say, the movie it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, if which you should have by now, then I highly recommend you check it out. Again, you can find it on Peacock right now, um, or if you have it digitally, you could also see it on wherever you put the digital code at, whether it's Walmart or now Voodoo, Fandango, as it's known, or Amazon Prime, which is it's on there too. And again, like I said, for anybody that was wondering, why it's being shown in all these other areas except to where it should be, like Netflix, Discovery, and all that, it's because Gates is the ones that distributed the movie, so they have the first say of where it goes, like of where it ends up at, and everything. And until the day comes to where they either make a deal with Netflix and Discovery Family to say, yeah, we'll let you do it now too. It's going to get distributed wherever they want it to, wherever they feel they can get the most views out of it, if you will. But yeah, overall, it's a great film, and again, some great funny moments in there. Uh, like I said, with the hugging moment between Skystar and her mom, where mom's just laughing. You are so grounded, and Skystar's face is like what did you say? It's like it's really good. It's just a really good film, and again, I think the celebrity voice actors and actresses did great. They worked well with the established cast, and like I said, if it wasn't for this movie succeeding, making back more than what it did, more than what it spent to make the movie, making that back at the box office, more than I think they expected from not just a national perspective but a worldwide perspective. I don't think we would. I don't think we would have a Generation Five. I don't think we would have had a Generation Five movie that would lead us into a series that will hopefully answer a lot of questions that got raised throughout the Generation Five movie. But overall, it's really good, and I was really happy to see it in the theaters. And like I said, if we had a theater here to where it was showing, then I would definitely be seeing it over and over again. There's no doubt. But anyway, though, guys, that's really all I'm gonna say on it. I mean, I can't say any more than I think anybody else has said. I mean, it's hard to believe. It doesn't. I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel like it, but it's hard to believe that 4 years has already passed since this movie's come out. 4 years, and next year is going to be five, so we'll be halfway away from a decade since the movie came out. With next year being the fifth anniversary, and I'm kind of surprised because I've heard from people talk about the fact that there probably was, or because I have somebody, Frank Hill. It's Frank. He asked me sometimes, do I know about the 4K of My Little Pony? He asked me, I think he asked me one time if I got or knew about the 4K release of the MLP movie. And I'm like, no, I didn't get it yet. And I'm thinking, okay, is there a 4K and they just didn't promote it? What's going on here? And I'll be very appreciative to Frank Hill. It's Frank. If he can get a 4K version of the movie to send to me, that'd be great. And then, of course, he's asking about a steelbook. And I'm like, I think there might be a steelbook, but if not, I'd be grateful to him to get me that too. Any kind of copy. There's a Target exclusive that I'd like to get my hands on that has an activity book, stickers, and all that, and its slipcase is the one that basically is not like this, but it's like this. So I'd be really appreciative if I can get that from him, down the line, but we'll see. We shall see. But overall, though, guys, the movie, like I said, is worth watching. If you've not seen it yet, or if you haven't seen it in a long while, definitely watch it. It's its fourth anniversary. And again, and honestly, like I said, if it wasn't for this succeeding and making back its budget that's the word I was looking for, making back its budget at the box office, more so than expected nationally and worldwide, we wouldn't have a Generation 5 movie. We wouldn't. So I want you to, and I want you guys, so I want you guys to take that into perspective. If it wasn't for this making back its budget, if not more so at the box office, internationally as well as here in the States, we wouldn't have a G5 movie. And that's a fact. That is a fact. But anyway, though, guys, just wanted to come on here in celebration in honor of the fourth anniversary. Again, hard to believe it's 4 years, going to be five next year. Yeah, fourth anniversary, and like I said, hard to believe it's going to have the fifth anniversary next year. But the fourth anniversary of the 2017 MLP My Little Pony movie. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments post live stream. Thank you to those joining me in the live chat during this. Really appreciated you guys being here, as well as also contributing to the poll. And let's see what the poll is before we get out of here. And basically, the poll's question is: did you see the movie on opening night/day? 44% said yes. 56% said no. So it looks like a lot of people waited until after opening day, mostly probably the weekend, opening weekend, that is, to see the film on the big screen. So we're going to end that poll right now. And again, let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you all for watching. Check me out check me out at all these areas like BW Rosa's discussions. Check me out there, if you will. Check me out at BW Rosa's discussions at all your favorite audio podcast locations, except for Pandora, in which this will also be on there when it gets fully uh, processed. Check me out there. On the audio podcast locations. Really would really appreciate the support there, especially with everything going on now with my financial situations, which I've done some videos on that. You can check those videos out as well. Also, check out my Teespring store. I already, believe it or not, have one order down, and hopefully I'll have more in the future. There's plenty of stuff you guys can check out there. I think you will enjoy it, as well as check me out at Patreon and Brian Walmer, BW Roses, patreon.com/BW Roses. You can check me out there. $1 tier, helps support the channel, get you recognition. $3 tier gets you recognition, helps support the channel or the brand and all that, but also allows you to check out some YouTube videos that are unlisted that you can only watch if you become a Patreon supporter at the $3 tier. The goal basically is if I can get maybe five at least, or five to six Patreon supporters on either tier. Basically, if I can get three on the $1 and three on the $3, then I will open up a $5 Q&A. If you $5 Q&A, which you guys can ask me any questions that you like as Patreon as a Patreon exclusive. But yeah, check me out at patreon.com/bwroses. Also check me out at Vimeo at bwroses, where you can find PMVs, fan vids, AMVs, if you will, that cannot be seen here due to copyright reasons, preventing YouTube from showing them because they get blocked. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for contributing to the poll. Really appreciate it. And that's all I'm gonna say, guys. So till next time, take care. God bless. Have a good day and night. I'm gonna get myself ready for when my mom shows up. Kind of clean up what's left of the dishes in the sink, as well as turn on some lights around here. Because as you could tell during this live broadcast, the live stream well, not the live stream, but things are getting a little darker around here because we're going into evening, about the 6 o'clock hour range. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Really appreciate it. And again, check out the movie if you haven't seen it yet, or if you haven't seen it in a while. Especially because it's its fourth anniversary, I think you really will enjoy it more so than maybe the first time you watched it. And remember, if it wasn't for this film, there wouldn't be a fifth generation movie. So until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I am out.